What's going on, guys? I'm Joe. I'm here with my co-host Tim,
How's it going, guys?
and we're back for another episode of The Final Serve. In this episode, we decided that we wanted to talk a little bit about the Manti Te'o situation. Now we know that this is, a little bit of an old story now, but I think the two of us have some opinions on this that we feel need to come out. First of all, I think the main point of this whole situation is you need to be careful who you're talking to online. I feel a little bad for him, but you're going to have a relationship with somebody that you don't know, and I don't know. It's tough. In some ways, I'm not really surprised that it turns out that this person is fake and people were trying to trick him because he's such a big star. So
People here right away. I have to interrupt with, how did he not find out sooner that this was a fake person or wasn't the real girl? Because she get into a car accident. If you were in love with this girl, as you said, you didn't make an attempt to go visit her. You didn't. When she found out she had cancer, you didn't make an attempt to go see her and comfort her.
Well, but here's what people need to understand. He's a college student. I mean, in college,
I'm not trying to say that
Hold
you
on.
turn around and see her every week. You're not trying to do that. But you mean tell me something as serious as her getting into a car accident, something as serious as her getting cancer, you're not going out there and trying to see her? I mean, these are near death. Oh, well, one turned out to be a experience that would lead to death. But one's a near-death experience. You don't go to and make an attempt? And this is the problem I have with the whole situation. Is how do you get fooled by this? I mean, we live in the 21st century. You didn't Skype her?
Well, here's the thing. In the transcript, with the conversation that he had with ESPN, because they asked him in the interview, didn't you try to Skype? Because that's what we do. And what these people did to him was they turned around and were like, oh, I can see you and I can see me on the screen. I don't know why you can't see me. Apparently, what he saw was just a black screen. So,
but I mean, I'm sorry.
Basically,
there's got to be something that goes on in your head with a red flag. And I mean, like, this girl, okay, then she wound up passing away. You didn't decide to go to the funeral? You couldn't have taken some time out to go visit her?
You're right about that.
Okay, fine. I understand your whole argument that he's a college student, but once again, you're a college student for Notre Dame. I mean, there's got to be some support there. Your parents supported you in this relationship. Your parents thought that you've seen her before. You mean tell me they wouldn't have given you some money to go out there and go see her? If this kid is flat broke?
Well, I don't know. I think he did have some red flags because, again, after reading that interview, he did say that he asked a few people that she was supposedly friends with on Facebook and that he was friends with. He asked them if she was legit. And I guess basically what this person did was go and talk to these other people to make her seem real. And then they went and told Te'o, yeah, she's legit, because they had conversations with her, in quotations. You know what I mean? So
it's such a crazy situation.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but
I just don't understand how you can fall for this. The kid, the guy is just really naive. I mean, that's all you can pretty much say about it.
I don't think he's going to trust anybody again now.
Oh, that's obvious. There's no way he's trusting anyone. We'll keep this sports related. How will this incident affect his draft stock? Personally, if he's as good as everyone says, and people are predicting him to be the next Ray Lewis,
which I don't think is going to be true.
Well, I think it's too high of a plateau to put him on. But even if he's in that caliber, does he really drop that far down? I mean, you mean to tell me teams gonna pass by him?
Well, here's the thing.
If he was supposed to be what, like a top 5 draft pick?
I would say top 10.
Okay, he's gonna be the top 10 draft pick. You mean to tell me if like a team that's like the 28th pick, he floats around down there, like, so they're gonna let him go? And if they need linebackers, I mean, I don't see that happening.
Well, it's funny because there have been reports that people are saying he's going to drop out of the first round, which I think is completely ridiculous. Because first of all, teams draft convicted felons.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. If he turns around and drafts to the Giants spot, I think the Giants will pick him up. Because you know what? He's not a bad kid. He just made a foolish mistake. And I'll tell you one thing. The Giants have a habit of drafting people that might not be what they need, but if they're a high prospect, they're going to go out and take them.
Well, listen, I think whoever goes and gets Teo is going to get a hell of a football player.
Oh, definitely.
I think it would be extremely unfortunate if he wound up dropping out of the first round because I don't think it's really warranted.
No, the guy didn't
Now,
do anything
if you
bad.
wanted it, but if you wanted to turn around and say that after his performance in the national championship game, missing tackles, he
Oh,
had a terrible
That
game.
definitely hurts his stock more
That
than
yeah, that
what.
I can
Yeah.
understand. I can understand, but even after that game, you cannot have him drop out of the first round. I think if you're gonna base his stock on anything, you base it on the national championship game, not on the drama.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Well, if you're going to use this against him, what does it say that the Notre Dame athletic director came out and defended him? Obviously, this kid is good enough of a person that these educated people still had his back. Still supported him.
Right.
So he's obviously someone that still has the respect of authorities, of his players. So in my mind, I think this incident should be null and void. It should not. They should not even be considering it when it comes to drafting him.
I agree. Like I said, if teams decide that
A convicted felon is okay.
yeah, over him, you know what? Then I think that's really unfortunate for them because whoever ends up with him is going to have
They're gonna
a good
be,
player
yep.
on their hands. And you know what? To be honest, it'll if he somehow falls to the second round, that's going to be a steal.
Oh, of
It's
course.
such a steal because I mean the money difference from the first round draft pick to a second round draft pick is pretty significant.
Yeah.
And if you could get this guy in the
On the
second round,
cheap. Yeah.
yeah, such a steal that would be. But personally, I think it would be very unfortunate if he dropped that badly.
Listen, I wish him a very bright future. Obviously, not a bad kid. Maybe not one of the brightest. Maybe he gave too much trust into something he probably shouldn't have. Something he should have been a little more cautious about.
He made an emotional decision. That's what it
To be
was.
fair, he let his heart get before his head.
Yep.
That's what it was. And you live and you learn, as they say. Unfortunately, this might come at a big price to him. I mean, he's still gonna play in the NFL. I mean,
Yeah, of course. And eventually he'll get that big contract.
yeah, he.
I just think it's an unfortunate situation. And, I felt really bad how they automatically put, like, that Deadspin story seemed to automatically put 100% of the blame on him. And it was like, well, you don't know all the facts yet. I kind of felt like you're kind of knocking this kid down when you don't know the whole story. And then as things develop, it turns out, well, maybe someone really was fooling him, you know? It's just an unfortunate situation. That's what I'm getting at.
Now that we know everything, it's an unfortunate situation. But to be fair, at the time, people were thinking that he's just trying to put all this out there to get more votes for the Heisman, to bring more attention to his team, bring more attention to himself.
Yeah.
Obviously, it seems that wasn't the case. But once again, I'm repeating myself. You live and you learn. I guarantee he won't make this mistake ever again. But to be fair, once again, as I said before, he should have made a trip out there to visit this girl, or turn around and if you're talking to this girl, that's what you thought. This person who you thought existed.
I know
He
we're
should-
talking about her as if she's a
Yeah,
real
actually,
person.
yeah, I know.
but
It's hard to talk about someone like this.
Yeah, it's hard to differentiate it. Really, it's three people that were involved as this one person. But
But my thought process is that if you're gonna establish a connection this close and open up yourself that much, then how did you not at least make an attempt to go see him? I mean, and even if we'll say that the person denied, said, "Oh no, I don't have the time, this and that." Fine, but then they do the same thing second, third, fourth time you try. That's when you gotta turn around and throw in the towel, my friend. That right there should turn around and be like, you know what? Then obviously, if this person does really exist, they don't care enough to turn around and make time for you.
yeah,
That enough should have been. I don't know. My whole thing in this is that I just don't understand how you don't, before you get this close with someone, how you don't at least try to see if they're real. I don't know how that thought doesn't pop into your mind. I mean, you established a relationship with someone over the internet, and you never thought to check to see if this person was real. And I don't mean check to the internet. I mean even in person. I don't know. I put a lot of trust in something he probably shouldn't have, and
well,
we'll see what happens to him.
I hope he could put this behind him. and just
Well,
move forward.
listen, a year from now, no one's gonna remember this. No one's
Yeah,
gonna
but
think
but
about it.
I think it's a little different when it's you personally, because you'll always have it in your mind. You know what I mean? It'll always be in the back of your head that, oh well, look, it's public
Trust
humiliation.
me, next year when he's sacking quarterbacks, I don't think he's gonna be thinking about this
Uh,
anymore. And girls are gonna be throwing themselves at him. He'll be fine. Listen, he won't have the same trust in a relationship probably ever again, but
which is
he'll be fine.
unfortunate for the rest of the girls. That
It
oh
is what
well,
it is.
not everyone can be trusted. What can I say? Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at The Final Serve, like us on Facebook, and please subscribe.
You've just been served.